This program is brought to you in part by Cedar Ridge Paving and Milling, commercial and residential work. Yes, welcome to Race in Action Today Talk Series. We're here today in the Nutmeg TV station here in Farmington, in one of the original 13 colonies, the great state of Connecticut, with two of the most dynamic and personable people I know when it comes to history. With the Historical Society in Berlin, Connecticut, I want to welcome Nancy Moran and Lorraine Stubb.
Thank you. Hi.
And girls, I have to say, the last Berlin Fair, your exhibits there were excellent.
Thank you.
I have to, just to go over a little bit, you had that exhibit about racing, which was good, I'm still working on it, believe it or not. I tried and tracked down a picture of the actual gas station that was the speed shop on Worthington Ridge. I cannot find it nowhere. What I did come across, I think if we have a picture of it, a 1927 picture of the gas station that was there in 1927.
Really? Okay.
But we're still working on it, though, because I think the history there is very important. When you talk about the historic district, and to say you had a speed shop there, people will say, well, are you kidding or what? But it happened, Now, the other thing is you did a wonderful exhibit about the milk community in Berlin. I mean, when I first moved to Berlin, when I was a kid, that's a long time ago. I want to say about 1957 or so. I used to say there was more cows than people. But the amount of dairy farms or milk producing places, I can't remember the exact number. Do you have any idea? It was a lot, though. I know that.
There were about 46 dairy farms in town over time.
Yes.
And about 15 of them actually bottled their own milk.
Yes.
And the other ones would produce milk and sell it to the bigger bottlers.
Yes.
That's a lot of dairy farms.
It is. It is. I can still remember those jugs. And my father used to get so mad at me. We used to get the 1 quart bottles with the cream on top. You know where that cream went, right? My father used to say, where's the cream? Oh, my dear. But that's how it was in the day,
Right. Many people will also tell stories about having the milk box.
Yes.
And having milk delivered to their houses.
That's right.
They were familiar sights.
Yeah, it was really interesting, And that exhibit you had was excellent, Of course, you also had my favorite exhibit about the ghost, right? That was very, very good.
So this year's ghost exhibit is the second year in a row that we actually did real Berlin ghost stories.
Really?
Yes. So the stories that we shared and dressed up skeletons to mimic the people were actually stories that Berlin residents or former Berlin residents actually told about ghosts in their homes or what they experienced.
Well, hey, when you start talking about houses that were built in the 1700s, I mean,
right.
We're talking a little ways, that's a big deal, right?
Yes.
Of course, I want to mention too, Nancy, while I'm thinking about it, you have your museum in Kensington. I mean, it's really special. The building itself, I love it myself.
Yes. It's the old Peck Library.
Yes, it is.
Built in 1901.
Now, inside that museum, what typically would you see? People visiting there, what are they going to be looking at? Pictures or that kind of thing?
Well, we have displays set up. Normally you come in and the first display is about the indigenous people that lived in this area. They were the Wanguk tribe.
The who?
Wanguk.
I never heard that.
So they thrived here for thousands of years, and we have a collection that actually came from my ancestors. My great-grandfather had a farm in East Berlin,
Okay.
and when he was plowing, he would till up arrowheads
Yes.
and stone
Yeah.
tools and things like that. And over generations, the family created this exhibit, and then they passed it on to the
Well, the
museum.
different tools. There
Yep.
was even a hatchet, right? I mean, there was stone, right?
Right.
When I was a kid, and I used to, at first, I didn't realize that they were real. And then they were telling me, those are arrowheads. I said, get out of here. And they were real arrowheads. We would find them in the field. Yeah.
Well, a lot of people did, because my family wasn't the only family. The Benson family had a big collection, and there was another family, a collection I know of.
Yeah.
So you go into there, and then we go right into like the tin exhibit, because the tin industry was the first real industry in our town, brought here by the Pattison brothers in 1740. Yeah, 1740.
Yeah, the history is interesting, isn't it? You know, when it comes to the tin, I mean, you know, that was very special, you know.
Right, and the tin industry lasted from the 1740s well into the 1860s, when the Industrial Revolution, really everything could be made that way. But the interesting thing about the Berlin tin industry is it wasn't just Berlin, it was the start of the tin industry in the United States.
Yes.
So
yes.
that's we're very proud of that,
know-
and the heritage of the families that brought that here.
You know, it's an interesting thing. I'm a big fan of Lime Rock Park, the racetrack. I never knew, and found out recently, that there was a factory there that made cannonballs.
Really?
Believe it or not. Yes. I could not believe that.
Yeah.
And they showed me artifacts of it. You know what I mean? Where would you ever think of that, you know?
Well, like you said in the beginning, we're an old state and part of one of the original colonies, right?
That's
and
right.
we had a lot of industry, and even in Berlin, when you talk about cannonballs, we had a lead mine that had to produce a certain amount of lead for the American Revolution.
Revolution, right? The other thing I found interesting too over the years, along Worthington Ridge, there's some houses, their chimneys at the very top have a black line around them, and that would mean they were part of the Underground Railroad, which I never realized it. I mean, that's kind of interesting.
I don't know if we know that for certain, but people say that.
I've read that more than once. I've read that. That was how they knew that house was part of the Underground Railroad for people looking to escape, you know.
A lot of the difficulty is people who were involved in that weren't writing down what they were doing, because they could be arrested, and
Oh yeah, I mean that had to be interesting, I'll tell you.
so we don't have diaries or letters saying like, "Oh, I'm harboring slaves here because it was too dangerous."
If you look though, to this day, there's some houses that'll have that. Not many, but there's some there. They still have that black line along the top of the chimney.
Well, we do know that this was a town that they were, especially some of the churches, were ardent abolitionists. So
Yes.
we do know that they helped
Oh, they had to.
get people to safety.
They had to.
They had to, and they wanted to.
That's right. So the history, of course, you can't get any more history more than a meeting house. That's, I mean, let's face it, you know. And we're going to get into that very shortly about your upcoming events. We're going to celebrate the 250-year anniversary. You know, we're going to get into that. Just one more thing I want to get cleared before we go further. of course, you know I'm a big Berlin Redcoat fan, the high school football team. And there's different stories about how they got their name. My thinking, or what I always believe recently, through the years, that the brickyards, which are very special too in our town, the history, people working in the brickyard would have the red dust on their coats, and they would call them the Redcoats. And that's how they got that name. Am I thinking wrong?
That's just a theory.
Yeah, okay.
We do know that there was a contest after Berlin got its own high school, because before the Jeannie Hooker School was built, they had to go to a different town to complete high school.
Okay.
So by the later 1930s, and Berlin had sports teams because they had their own high school, there was a contest held in town, and it was well documented in the New Britain Herald. Lorraine knows all about this too.
Okay.
And many people submitted names, and there were all kinds of names that came out. The Bricklayers was one of the names, and your typical kind of sports names. And the one that won, the contest winner, I think, won $2.50.
The contest winner was Pinky Dodson.
Really?
And if anybody knows him or knows of him and has family stories about this, we'd love to hear it. But his entry was to call them the Redcoats.
Wow.
But the article never explains why.
Yeah, why? Yeah.
The missing link there.
I mean, when you think about it, the brickyards in town were really special.
They were.
I mean, all the activity was that.
And it was visible, especially in the northeastern side of town near the railroad station.
Yeah.
Because so many of them were located in that area.
Yes.
And what we know now of Farmington Avenue in Berlin, which looks very well developed, there were clay pits all over Farmington Avenue.
Sure. I can remember first moving to Berlin, there was still a trolley car track at the top of Farmington Avenue and Worthington Ridge.
Yeah.
You remember? You have pictures of that?
Yes, we do.
See? For a young kid, I was pretty observant,
Yeah.
That line came in the late 1800s.
Yeah.
And it ended on Worthington Ridge, farther down, but then it went all the way into New Britain, and people would hop the trolley and go where they could.
Special times, huh? Mm-hmm. Well, I don't want to wait anymore about this 250th anniversary. I want to talk about it. We have a very special event coming up the 18th of this month. Nancy, you want to give us a little clue of what's going to happen that day?
Well, I'll have Lorraine talk about this since it's her.
Oh, it's her deal.
Well, as
we're
president,
kind of partnering.
Yes.
But in addition to being in the Historical Society, I'm president of Friends of Worthington Meeting House. So we're the key sponsor of this event.
Okay.
So the meeting house was first occupied in 1775, and that's what we're celebrating. But I was thinking about the other night about all the things happening in 1775. You had the Lexington and Concord battles, the beginning of the Revolutionary War. So people probably mustered there before they went up to Boston. A lot of history in that building. And so we're celebrating everything that it's seen over 250 years because it became our town hall. Then it was at Worthington School, as you remember.
I hate to admit it, I actually went there.
Wow, okay.
You should be proud of
My
that.
wife, too. I was in 4th grade. She was in, I think, 1st or 2nd grade she went there. So, it was a great history there.
And then eventually it was Board of Ed offices. And now it's been vacant for 50 years. So there have been groups of people over that 50 years that have recognized how much this building means to our history. And so we're ever persistent and seeing it, nudging the project forward. But we hope to have it be opened as a museum and a community cultural center.
Now the 18th, what is going to happen that day? There's special things going on that day.
Yeah, we'll start off, the mayor has a proclamation he's going to read, and then Theater Guild of Berlin is going to perform a short play written by one of our members about the arbitration.
Now, is this
meeting.
Outside?
Yes, it has to be
Everything's
outside.
outside.
Yeah, because the interior of the building's still considered a construction site, so you can't have assembly inside.
Right.
So we're praying for no rain.
So they're going to have a little play, right?
Yeah, and they're going to reenact the arbitration that occurred because the previous parish couldn't determine where to. They wanted to split because they were getting too big, and the people to the east and west were traveling too far.
Yeah.
And they were squabbling. So they brought in independent arbitrators from Massachusetts Bay Colony, and they met and they determined that the parish would split in half, and they determined where each of the new meeting houses would be built. And they split up the timbers. So half went up to build Worthington and half went to build the Kensington. And both buildings still exist, but the Kensington one remained a church, and the one in Worthington had many uses over time. But it's
back then,
it's still a public building.
The church was kind of a central thing, right?
Sure was.
Big part of your life, right?
Yeah.
Right. And initially, there wasn't the separation of church and state.
Yeah.
So churches would also be used for town meetings.
Yes. Yeah, I want to remind, too, that we have some pictures of the meeting house and a very special pictures, too, of the cupola.
Yes.
Which a cupola usually goes on the top of the building. Now, the town gave you some help. I see they have a little landing area platform for the cupola, which it looks like to me is in very good shape, right?
Well, it was restored in 2024, but we got some state funding for it too.
Yeah.
And the people who were working on it said, if you looked at it, it looked shabby, but when you look at it close up, it was made with old wood, which is old growth wood is denser and it lasts longer. So there are relatively few parts that had to be rebuilt, but it was completely stripped and primed properly and painted, and it's beautiful.
Well, it looks like nice to me. It
looks like a wedding
now,
cake.
when we have this event, the 18th, people are going to actually sit around this thing, right? Right on the lawn? With lawn chairs or?
We'll have some chairs set up.
Oh, you will have chairs, okay.
Yeah.
Or you bring your own, right?
Yeah. But the cupola, it's not going back up on the building. It's too...
Yeah.
It would be too difficult to do that. So having it on the ground, people can see it up close, and they can peek in the windows to see the names carved in there. And we have lists of all the boys who climbed up in the attic back to 1907 to carve their names inside the cupola.
There's a story with that where they had to climb up through the ceiling of the girls' bathroom.
Oh.
And then they went up into the rafters, and there are still names up in the rafters of the meeting house.
Yeah.
And then they would go into the cupola that way.
Oh, wow.
And they would carve their initials also.
Wow. See, I never knew that.
Yeah.
That's interesting.
That cupola weighs 3,500 pounds.
Oh, wow.
It's very... When Lorraine was talking about the wood that was used in that structure is so solid.
Yeah. Well, back then when they built something, they built it. I have to say, I'm a big fan of post and beam construction, and there's nothing like it. When you do it right. And
well, that's how the meeting house was built.
Right.
yes. And so. The other thing, too, that's very interesting that people should know, the house behind the meeting house, what do we have here? And we have pictures of that, too.
Yeah.
It's a house behind the meeting house. Is that somebody special live there, or is that part of the? How did that work? I'm kind of confused myself.
We're trying to figure out if there was a connection because it's so close to the back of the meeting house.
Yes.
And the shape of the original part of that building is so similar to what they called Sabbath day houses,
Okay.
which were small houses built near meeting houses. It was a place, because the services would last like almost all day, so you'd need a break.
Yeah.
And you could go there to rest or make something to eat. And but we know
Now there's gardens there too, right?
Right. So the Berlin Historical Society bought that house in 2016 from my neighbor, because I live immediately to the north of it, and Esther Woodruff, who really felt that that building belonged with the meeting house, to exactly what Lorraine is saying. So when she passed away, the Historical Society purchased the building.
Yeah.
We put a garden in because Esther she was a second grade teacher,
Oh, wow.
and she would go around collecting chrysalises, and she would bring them into her classroom.
Oh, wow.
So that the children could see the butterflies emerge from there. So we decided we needed to put in a butterfly garden.
Oh,
So we have one in her honor there.
Yeah, I just planted a butterfly bush. My wife is still swearing at me. I don't know why she's against it, but I think they're so pretty, you know.
They are. So over time we restored, because we believe the building to be, we call it the 1771 house, but we believe the building, it's old. And one of our members, along with another one of our members, actually did the work to restore the front room to what it looked like originally. And as we started taking down plaster, we found where the old fireplace was, and it was exciting. So we've restored 2 rooms in that house.
That's nice. That's very nice.
it's down to the old wide floorboards.
Yeah.
You know, I got to ask you something. When I was growing up, there was a house not far away from this spot where a woman had a parrot, and I'm almost positive her name was McGee. From the McGee's that they named the school after.
Oh.
I'm not positive, but I would imagine. I don't know if I'm thinking right or not.
There is a house that's immediately south of the meeting house. It's blue, and Mary Griswold lived there,
Okay.
which another school in town is named after.
Oh, okay.
So maybe that's what you're
But the
thinking.
woman had a parrot.
She had a parrot. Don't
and,
know that story.
and I used to go, I was fascinated by it, you know. I was just a kid then. But a lot of interest there, I'll tell you. And I want to tell people that if you get a chance to the 18th to go to the meeting house on Worthington Ridge, and you will truly have a great day.
Yeah.
You know.
People will be able to take a peek inside and also go into the 1771 house.
Yeah.
And we'll have cider and donuts and, other things going on.
Yeah.
And if they have the time, like it's the historic district, and they can walk and see other old houses.
Yeah. Well, I mean, let's face it. The historic district is beautiful. You know, it really is. And, I'm really glad that I finally made the move, and I am part of your group now.
Yes.
And we're very glad to have you.
And to keep this district going and bring back the history as it was is very special. And the architecture of these buildings is so great. I have to say it was. Like the library now on Worthington Ridge there. That building's beautiful.
It is.
Yeah.
And the house next to it.
Yes.
Too. They're beautiful.
Yeah.
They are.
It's worth walking when you can see things up close,
Yes.
too.
Yeah. Well, I think it would be a good idea if we could get some people together to volunteer taking people for a walk down that street.
Yeah.
showing them these different
Yeah.
houses.
Well, we've done that.
Yeah.
Occasionally we'll have walking tours.
Yes.
We're not doing that this fall, but we'll probably do it again at some point.
We will.
Yeah.
You know,
Well, now, so the 18th, is that an all-day affair?
it's 11 to 3.
3, okay.
And then if it rains, we'll go to the following Saturday, the 25th.
Well, that's a good idea. So what did you say, hot cider and donuts? Is that what you said?
Yes,
Yeah, I like that idea.
it's the season for it.
Yeah. Well, I have to say, when you're having fun, ladies, time flies. And unfortunately, we're going to have to call it a day with today's show. But I really want to thank you both for being here. I want to thank you, the viewers, to watch the show tonight. I want to also thank Nutmeg TV for all they do.
Yes.
And I hope that we could, maybe the 18th, film a show there about what goes on. And yes, if you want to call me a fossil, I have no problem with that. My wife calls me that all the time. Well, I want to thank you for watching tonight. And thank you and good night. This program is brought to you in part by Just Results Weight Loss Center in Berlin, Connecticut.
Sometimes life just happens. Don't worry. Farmington Motorsports will get you back on the road and at a fair price. From towing to tires, emissions to transmissions.
Our ASC certified techs do it all.
Farmington Motorsports is a family-run business. We're a Napa Auto Center and AAA approved. We work on all makes and models from preventative maintenance to major repairs.
And every repair is backed by our 2-year, 24,000-mile nationwide warranty.
When life happens to you, don't worry. Farmington Motorsports.